Greetings to you all. Greetings to you. Shalom to those of you who happen to be saints. I welcome you to this broadcast, a very important day in our nation's history. Today happens to be the 26th day of May according to Pope Gregory's calendar, hence Guyana's independence, or what they refer to as our independence. Guyana is by no means an independent nation. We have never been an independent nation. We've been colonized for centuries. Our people have been, Forbes Burnham, Chetty Jagan, they sought to free us from the clutches of the monarchy, and it failed. Because when Burnham sought to be independent in reference to, and Chetty agreed with him, controlling our economy, owning our resources, serious sanctions would have been imposed upon us. Remember that? You need to remember these things. Okay? And people blame Burnham for giving us, for banning flour and banning this. No, you need to understand what happened. But that's another story, which I will also speak to, because our leaders are very, very much afraid. Many of them who want to lead Guyana do not speak to Forbes Burnham, especially from the PNC side. But as you join, tell me whether you can hear me clearly, please. You can also see clearly as I address this matter regarding the PPP's move to Linden to host what they call the Independence Celebration at the Mackenzie Sports Club. Edgel, in his disrespectful, stupid, unintelligent, moronic preaching self, normal way, would have been on 94.1 FM, which is 104.3 FM in Linden, yesterday to say that the event is being held at the Mackenzie Stadium. The place is called the Mackenzie Sports Club. If they have a financial, which I think they would have done, they have a bank account, they have records, they have business accounts that they would run, they have meetings that they hold. If it has a legal name called the Mackenzie Sports Club, then how can you be so daft to refer to it as Mackenzie Stadium? The club has members. I happen to be one of them, paying members, financial members. How can anyone be so stupid to just decide that we'll call it Mackenzie Stadium, and everybody runs along with it, or they expect it to run along with it? I would not do it. But let me know whether you can hear me clearly, please, so that I can address what may be the uncomfortable truth. Now, as you join the broadcast, you're joining on my page. If you don't like what I say, you're free to say that you don't like what I say. No problem. If you're very much upset with what I say, you're free to say so on this page. What you're not free to do is to tell me what I can or cannot say on my page. So let's get it clear. If you disagree with what I say, fine, say it. And don't hide behind some fake account, say it. Because I promote disagreement. I do. Our country needs to have people who are able to disagree with things in a logical way. You have every right to disagree with what I don't want you to agree with me. Neither do I want you to disagree with me. What I would like you to do, or neither I would like, what I want you to do is to be honest and straightforward. However, do not come onto my page to tell me what I can or cannot say. In our Guyanese social vernacular, I'll say we'll go up the road now. We'll have a problem. Don't do that. Don't you dare tell me as a grown man what I can or I cannot say. Tell me you do not agree with what I've said. Do not come on my page and tell me that Aubrey Norton needs support or PNC needs support and I should not tear down a black person. I do not speak to people based on their ethnicity. I speak to people based on their realities or their character. What you present to me is what I shall address. In like manner, what I present to you is what you should address. It has nothing to do with them black or black or pink or white. I am a Hebrew man, I'm not black. But in the context of our social structure, if you want to refer to those people as black, then what do you refer to an Indian person as? What's their color? Because you all have the same skin tone. So if I'm black, they're black too. So it's clear. The PPP has decided, and thank you for the feedback by the way, they decided that they're going to go into Linden, take the minister, the cabinet members, and bus loads of individuals into our town. The Mackenzie Sports Club is located in the heart of Mackenzie, in what is called Central Mackenzie. What our individuals across our nation do not seem to appreciate is the fact that wicked people, evil people, sick, pathological minds strategize for the worst. So when you're thinking that things are being done by the PPP administration just because or just for no reason, no, they do everything with a reason attached to it, especially when it comes to African descendants or towns that are predominantly African in its nature. For example, when they decided that the Charles Rose School of Nursing, an entire batch of mainly African descendants, nurses in training, go home. You're from Linden, go home. They brought mainly Amerindian people into Region 10. Now they have a structure of hundreds of thousands of nurses. But they had the nerve to shut down a batch. They didn't close the Charles Rose School of Nursing. They simply sent the Lindeners home and said, "They too many of you are from the region. The school is in Region 10. The school is in Linden. Lindeners were in the school, nurses seeking to be a part of our healthcare system to take care of our patients. They sent them home and told them, if you want to continue nursing, go to Georgetown to school. Now they have a shortage of nurses. When the St. John's Ambulance Brigade, predominantly African descendants, the entire cadre, all members of staff, were sent home, caught in the midst of what you call COVID. Rudy Small, who has been sued and have to pay the nurses, that creature, a PPP lackey and crony, he was made to fire an entire batch of people, predominantly African descendants. When it comes to certain strategies, the PPP mastered it when it comes to black people. When we had the Fauci's potion, garbage, trash, we have one called COVID vaccine. Frank Anthony, again Rudy Small, Burrell Small, locked the gates of the hospital in Linden. An unconscious baby and the mother would have been locked up. No nurses there. They locked the nurses and doctors out of the hospital. An unconscious young man was in the emergency room. Nobody was there to take care of him. Frank Anthony had no issue with seeing that happen while Port Brant Hospital was still open, Skeldon Hospital was still open, New Amsterdam Hospital still open, West Demerara Hospital still open, hospitals in Georgetown still open, but Linden, where predominantly black people are, you lock the hospital. This is the norm. And this is a frightening reality. Very frightening. So, if we prepare to be honest, we would note and would know that in Palaji, for example, the International Decade for People of African Descent, Guyana's arm, the PPP sought to defund this body, responsible mainly for promoting African descendants. Apostle Thomas, good to see you, my brother. Shalom. The PPP, through Ramson, suggested that they had to submit their audited records. Well, it was done already. But of course, Ramson doesn't understand simple protocol. So he sought to make the excuse that because they're not audited, we will cut the funds, when the people have been audited. Of course, the Ghana Teachers Union, predominantly African females, or females of African descent, Hebrew females. Guess what? They are being threatened with having their salaries cut. Predominantly African females. This is normal behavior. In Region 10, where the Mackenzie Sports Club is located. A members club. They came and destroyed the pavilion, destroyed what a plaque showed belonged to the members of the club, demolished it without consulting with the members, without having a meeting to say what they would, showing the members what they intend or would like to do. And of course, you have to have suggestions from the community and the membership. None of that. According to the articles of law, that's supposed to happen. None of that happened. They wouldn't do it at Everest Cricket Club ground. They would not do it at Anna Regina. They would not do it at LBI. They wouldn't do it at Enmore. They would not do it at Albion. They would not do it at Rose Hall. They would do it in Linden. I'm laying a foundation of facts, of truth, of evidence. This is called normal behavior. Now, when we look at independence of our nation, Linden, Forbes, Sampson, Burnham, and Cheddi Barrett Jagan made an effort together to stand against the West, to say we deserve to manage our affairs. We have the right in Guyana to be on our own. We have the resources to take care of ourselves. They succeeded. They recognized. But you know what? If we allow you to be free and united, your country will be way too powerful. Because you have a small population, and if you have unity in the small population, then wealth is inevitable. I need to say to you all again, if you have unity in a small population, then wealth is inevitable. Guyana has got an insurmountable amount of natural resources. We are extremely wealthy when it comes to natural resources. The Europeans understood that if you have African people, descendants of Africans, descendants of Indian people, united as a nation, if you have that, then wealth will come to this nation that will far exceed any other nation in this world. And they showed it with the oil. We are classified as the wealthiest nation in the world per person. Good? So, I'll explain to you why I'm saying Amanza is from Linden and stuff and Norton from Linden. Now watch this. In the midst of what we have happening in our country, we have now at the Mackenzie Sports Club an event that is slated to be held tonight. I noticed over the past few days major works being done in my community of Linden. And I knew something was amiss. I knew exactly what was happening. Works all over the place. Road works, drainage works, everything being done in a rushed manner. You can't find trucks now, and machines are everywhere just working. And then I noticed activity at the Mackenzie Sports Club ground. And when I was riding on their training, I saw, of just zooming past me, were military buses, led by a Ghana Police Force bus. And I said, this is strange. Why are 6 buses flying down the highway? Of course they don't care whether they knock you and kill you. And those buses are top heavy, so they're very unstable, and they're racing on the highway. When I checked, I saw in the Mackenzie Sports Club military and paramilitary personnel, soldiers and fire service people and so on. I said, this is unusual. In the sports club, where they told me that I cannot walk because it's a construction site, keep out, nobody must be there. I said, in the sports club, hundreds of people are in there, walking on the field. And it's not a problem. So I knew at that moment that this is the PPP business. I saw a stage with the trusses and so on being built. I said, oh, there's an event to be held here. So inquiries were made. What's happening at sports club? Some of the executives said they don't know. Listen to me. Imagine Mackenzie Sports Club has a managing committee. And the management committee, the response was they don't have a clue about what's happening at the sports club. Y'all hear me yet? Do you imagine that we have a sports club managed by a committee, I think headed by Avery Trim? And the response that we got was nobody knows what's happening at the sports club. They're building a stage, they're building erecting trusses and so on. They're setting up major sound systems. Police, fire service people, I think they would have been, maybe prison service. I know the army is there, practicing, doing drills on the sports club ground. And we're being told that they do not know what is happening at the Mackenzie Sports Club. In the heart of Linden now, the mayor, I'm saying what, because he issued no public statement. The mayor doesn't know, the deputy mayor doesn't know, the councillors do not know, the regional chairman doesn't know, the deputy chairman doesn't know, the regional Democratic Council chairman, they don't know, councillors, they don't know either. Maybe Mr. Figueroa doesn't know. Devon Sayers doesn't know. Norton has no clue. Amanda Walton Desir has no clue. And this is happening in the heart of Linden. So what's my point? Please pay attention to my points being made here. I knew, because I take time to go around my community to observe what happens within my community. And I take the time to ask questions. I take the time to stop my vehicle, even from working, to get out of it and ask, what's happening here? So in our town, the town known as the cradle of the rebellion, the PPP could decide that they're going to take the sports club ground from you all. They're going to change the name of the venue without membership involvement, without community involvement. Again, as simple as you see it, the PPP wants to show you all, we could stand in your face. Although this place is legally called the Mackenzie Sports Club ground, we can call it what we want. Now remember, this is supposed to be managed by the Ministry of Culture. Now listen, let me just issue a statement here. If you're not capable, if you are incapable of reasoning, this is the wrong broadcast for you. Today, this morning is about people who can reason and understand things for what they really are. If you are shallow, I am not speaking to you. I don't normally do this, but I may likely block you this morning because I'm not in the mood for stupid people. People must learn. You must be informed and be able to process. I'm saying to you something that's very critical here. The Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports will be responsible for such an event, the planning thereof. And the culture of Linden, the culture of a place, must be taken into account if you have a plan to host an activity within that community. What is the culture of Linden? Culture comes from a people. Who are the main people of Linden? African descendants, Hebrew people. What is our culture? We are community-minded. We are closely knit in reference to how we function. Linden, they call it the mining town. You mind everybody's business, as they normally say about Linden. So why do you think that in the culture of a community, you show this community, listen, Indian people will decide what your name is, what we'll call the sports club. It's no longer called Mackenzie Sports Club. We will call it Mackenzie Stadium. And hush, take what we say. You all see the point yet? Because you are seeking to establish another culture for African descendants. And that culture for the Hebrew people is, whatever we tell you is what you accept. You have no say in what it looks like. Now you have no say in what it's called. I hope that Sharma Solomon, I hope that Duran Adams, I hope Aubrey Norton, I hope Amanda Desir, and I hope all of y'all who call Africans are paying attention to me here. In your faces you're being told, we will take this sports club from y'all. Figueroa, I hope you're watching too, and serious. And there's no personal beef with me and any one of y'all. Let's just say this as it needs to be said. We are not just going to, I'm talking the PP language here. We're not going to take the sports club from you all alone. We're going to now give it a name that you have to accept. It's going to be called Mackenzie Stadium, and you can do nothing about it. What would be most interesting to me is to hear Figueira, Sears, Norton, Desir, Sharma Solomon, Darren Adams, and others begin to say they host an event in Mackenzie Stadium. You know why you'll say it? Because you refer to Jagdeo as a vice president. That stupid, idiot, moronic crap of a position. There's nothing called vice president in our constitution. So for any normal thinking person like Norton, well, he doesn't think normally. But for Norton to suggest that he could just disregard the constitution and call Jagdeo the vice president, it is very stupid. So Jagdeo could say, listen, I'm vice president, call me vice president, Mr. Vice President. He's Bharat Jagdeo. Minister of something he has to be. If he's minister of nothing, then he's nothing. That's why Jagdeo could tell you all that the parliament is a waste of time. That's why he could do that. That's why he could stay away from it and call you a pack of jokers. And he has a right to do so, because you have him missing parliament and coming there in the capacity of some vice president. What is his portfolio? There's nothing in our constitution called a vice president in reference to an individual office that stands out like the USA. The USA has a president and a vice president. This creature wants Ali to be called president and he must be called vice president. Then look at what you all have. Irfan Ali, what's his name? Mark Phillips, who is Guyana's, according to the constitution, Guyana's first vice president is the prime minister. According to Guyana's constitution, the constitution states that you have got the president, the executive president, then beside that person, immediately after that person, is the prime minister, who is called the first vice president. Who is the first vice president? You get the point yet? You've got the president, executive president, then immediately beneath him in hierarchy is the prime minister, who is the first vice president. There is nothing called a vice president. They're numbers. It's numeric in nature. There's first vice president, second vice president, third vice president, fourth vice, and I think we have scope for 5. It is ordered by number. Jagdeo, being an intellectual midget, an intellectual failure, he just once appeared to be smart, which is why he has to be so vindictive, because he cannot be dominant with intelligence. So he has to be dominant by force or something else. The law has got numbers attached to vice presidents of this country. First vice president is the prime minister. You have a second vice president, a third, fourth, and maybe a fifth. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the constitution has room for 5. Which number is Jagdeo? Because he cannot be first. Jagdeo cannot be first. Jagdeo cannot be the first vice president of this country, because there's nothing called the vice president in our constitution. I hope you get the point. There's a number attached to the vice presidency. So there's a prime minister who is the first vice president. Norton is going to look at Jagdeo and call Jagdeo the vice president. Now, if you see, all if you guys just have an issue with Norton, if I could say this, I'm not a member of parliament. I'm not a prime minister. I'm not officially of the opposition. I am not anything in reference to leadership in this country, political leadership. Now, how you could tell me that the man who's paid over $1 million per month, how can you tell me that this man, how can you tell me that this creature could know what I said to you? He's a political scientist and refers to Jagdeo, and he would refer to Jagdeo as the vice president. What does that tell you all about this country? Huh? Norton is complicit. Norton is 100% guilty of what we have to deal with in this country, and in Linden in reference to this man I'm addressing this morning. The culture of your country is being changed from being an informed people, from being a literate people, to being people who just accept whatever dummies tell you, and whatever they say is what you accept. I hope you understand that. The culture of your country has changed from being the most literate people. If you didn't know that, you know it now. Guyana was among the top 2 nations in the whole world in reference to literacy. 98 or 99% literacy on the Forbes burn. I want you to get me clearly today, because I'm in a mood that you don't want to mess with me this morning. This country was ranked among the top 2 or 3 nations in the whole world for literacy, meaning people know how to read, on the Forbes burn. What's our rank now on the JAGU? And well, Irfan can't read himself. Irfan is semi-literate. Irfan Ali is semi-literate. Irfan can barely read. Irfan has to be coached into reading, and he has to read consistently anything that he has to repeat publicly. You cannot put any script in front of Irfan on the fly and let him read it. How can your country descend from being the 2nd or 3rd most literate, 98 or 99% of every 100 people in this country, 99 out of 100 people in Guyana knew how to read on the burner? That's a fact. Now you have a president who can barely read himself. And you're all here to tell me this morning, who would like to take the risk of telling me that I mustn't talk down against Norton? What am I supposed to do? Elevate Norton to what? To what? You must understand that I have a right to speak to good governance. You cannot have good governance with weak leadership. I need to repeat that. You cannot have good governance with weak leadership. For you to be governed well, you have to have strong leadership. Opposition, and administration. We're speaking to a nation that you are called independent. So let's have a conversation about independent thinkers. That's what I am. I am an independent thinker. The People's Movement has got people in it who are independent thinkers. If it's 2 of us alone, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 of us, we are at least able to think for ourselves. That's what I promote. That is what I'm seeking to establish. That's what we're seeking to advance in Guyana. And as the People's Movement, we shall seek to represent, by your request, the people of this nation at the highest decision-making level. Because we need it. I don't need to have people in Linden who are called members of parliament who are afraid to stand up and say, you are not coming to change the culture of our town. If I were the member of parliament, and if I were the mayor of Linden, there's no way that any rally, anything like that could be held in sports club. Nothing. Listen to me. Listen to me. If I were that, you had to arrest me because you're not coming into sports club. You have no stage built in sports club, and I couldn't go to simply watch what the work was being done to my club that I'm paying dues to be a part of. And you could bring soldiers to march on the field and bring equipment in the ground and drive trucks inside there to set up equipment, but I couldn't walk to see what's happening in the ground. You would have nothing called independence celebration in there. Now, Norton is a Lindener. Amanza Walton Desir, though she was born in Berbice, she lived in Linden. I know her father. She went to Mackenzie High School with me. So she refers to herself to some extent as a Lindener. In that context I speak. It's not about your place of birth, it's where you live and what you said your culture was formed from. Amanza said that she's from Linden. If you are from Linden or a Lindener by your schooling or your academic quests and the forming of your culture, then you're a Lindener. You lived in Retrieve. In that context I speak. Norton from Wisma. Born, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get this clear. Again, it comes to culture and strategy. My brothers and my sisters, my enemies and my friends, what are the chances that the PNC will be holding their Congress next month to elect a leader? This is where you have to hone in and pay attention. If the PNC, the People's National Congress, is going to host their Congress to elect a leader of the party in June, what are the chances that Aubrey Norton, who's from Wisma, Amanza Desir, who's from Retrieve, in reference to where she lived and went to school and everything else. She went to Mackenzie High School with me, although she's younger than I am. What are the chances that two of the faces on the slate for leading the PNC, Amanda Desir, Aubrey Norton, are from Linden? I think you all see I'm going with this already. And a few days before their Congress, Jagdeo decides we're coming to where you are from and show you all that we go into your town and do what we want. You could do nothing. I hope you all get the point. So if Amanza becomes the leader of the PNC, she has a record before she's even elected as leader that you couldn't even stop the PPP in your own town. If Norton becomes the leader of the PNC, there's a record to show that you are now paid to be the official leader of the opposition and you can't even stop the PPP in your own town. Now, Jagdeo has decided strategically that he's going to emasculate Aubrey Norton. And while you're chickens hopping around the stupid place talking about me and how I should be celebrating Norton and supporting Norton, no. Norton needs to understand and wake up to see what's happening to him. Sharma is the mayor. Sharma is APNU AFC's representative. He's the mayor. Dominic Blair is the deputy mayor. APNU AFC representative. He is the deputy mayor. Vanessa Kissoon, who's the face of the PNC, in reference to Linden, is a councillor. Beth Yoon, well, I think he ran independently this year. Darren Adams, APNU AFC selection, he is the Regional Democratic Council's chairman. He's the chairman. The most dominant, the most senior position in the region is Darren Adams, held by Darren Adams. Okay. Mark Goring. Goring is the vice chairman. Goring is the vice chairman. The vice chairman is AFC. All of the municipal and regional authoritative positions are held by PNC, APNU AFC, or AFC. What are the chances then that Jagdeo will decide we go into Linden, the area that voted overwhelmingly for the coalition? We'll go into Linden and we show Norton that we can go into your town where you're from and we'll host an event in your face without having Duran and the region, Sharma and the councillors have oversight of the cleanup of the town of preparation. You're going to just be invited to come if we want you to come. And we'll invite Duran, not Goring. We'll not invite any other councillor, just one person. Nobody else. Because you have space for you all. Do you see what these people have done to your community? Now, I would like to sit to think that today, Amanza Desir and Aubrey Norton, along with Darren Adams, Devin Sears, and Jermaine Figuera, would make a statement to the PPP, physical statement, not written statement. You'll make a physical statement to the PPP that you have gone one step too far in reference to disrespect. Not here. Clean the town up, but you won't be using Mackenzie Sports Club. So you form human chains and you block every gate and you say to them, you're not coming in here unless you arrest me or else you kill me. Norton is an absolute chicken. Norton is a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Norton will never take the risk to stand in front of the sports club gate to be arrested. Never. Norton will do what he did. The people in Georgia at the protest with the vaccine say, I wasn't there. I was just standing at the Botanical Gardens gate, and the police came and arrested me. That's what Norton did. Norton distanced himself from people who protested for their freedom to have the control of their own bodies. You tell me Norton could stand in front of the sports club gate today? If you do, Aubrey, I will be the first person. I will drive for hours because I'm out of town. I'll drive for as long as I have to drive to stand beside you. If you stand beside sports club gate today, just call me because you have my number. You call me. I'll be there beside you. Norton will not do it. Amanza will not do it. As I said, you don't have to agree with what I've said, but you can't say anything different to what I've said. So here's my challenge to you before I proceed. I dare anyone who's in support of Norton or anyone of the people in PNC to tell me which one of them will stand in front of the sports club gate and block it. I dare anyone here to name one PNC name who's a leader who would go in front of the sports club, because at this stage, if you're taking all of the cabinet members to Linden, then by right, the members of parliament from PNC should be in Linden too, but not in the ground, because this is a showdown here. This is where we have elected officials who are going to make a statement to say that the disrespect shown to Linden is not going to be shown anymore. And your most dominant support came from Linden. So I want you to show all of us in Guyana that the PNC has the power. APNU has the power to go and stand in front of the sports club gate and say you're not coming here, in terms of their leadership. Let me make you uncomfortable. Those of you who want to try to defend nonsense, let me make you very uncomfortable. Name 2, 3, 4, or 5 of the members of parliament from the opposition side who are going to stand in front of the sports club and say, lock me up. You're not coming in here. Name 2. Name 3. Name 4 or 5. Now this is where you get uncomfortable because you don't like the truth. And this is where I identify how weak you are intellectually and in reference to your psyche. You're weak people, many of you. Because who support the PNC, you are extremely weak. Because you're blind supporters who don't have power to think. You have to make a statement. Okay, so Jason Benjamin said Jermaine Figueroa, member of parliament, will go stand in front of the sports club, and if he's arrested, he's arrested. Let me see that, and if Figueroa does that, I will applaud him. Hands down. Hands up. If Figueroa, Jason Benjamin, if Figueroa stands in front of the sports club and says, you are not coming in here unless you lock me up, I'll applaud you with my hands up, him, and say, that's a boss. Now Figgy has my support. We have to be uncomfortable today to deal with this matter. No, we have to be. So let me just take time to respond to some people and then I'll proceed. Martin McKenzie, bro, Guyana is a free place where anyone can go anywhere. No. No, no. No, Guyana is not a free place and anyone cannot go anywhere in Guyana. So just understand that. Otto, good morning, brother. What you have to have in this country is strength. Now watch what these people do. They wait for the likes of me to show up at sports club, to stand. Want you to get this. They wait for me to go stand. They may see Mr. Thomas, Apostle Thomas come and stand beside me. They'll watch. And if they see people beginning to gather and the numbers become large enough for there to be protection for them, then one day will pop up on the scene to join, not to initiate. And then they'll take it over to say, well, we stood there and we stopped the PPP from doing it. Not this year. You're not getting me to do anything for you all this time, because it is not happening ever. It has never happened. It would definitely not happen now. It is not going to happen now. You were elected to lead. You will lead. This is one time I'm going to show Linden what y'all made of. No, you're not setting me up. You're not setting me up. I was never elected to lead anybody. I chose to stand for me and for my children and for my people. I stand for y'all. So you're not going to think that you have got the fortitude or any modicum of sense for me to go and stand in front there. My brother Pastor Thomas will stand with me. I know he's not afraid of anybody. Because I tell you already, prison, jail, and lockup wasn't made for cat and dog. And the police know me. I don't have time to be afraid of any police. Police are people. The most there are people who are empowered with weapons to kill me. That's all. And if any black one of y'all, you and the Ghana police force want to come there because you'll be sent by Hicken, who's a puppet to the PPP. If you send there to arrest me, then do it. But I know y'all, and I know that you're going to test to see, okay, oh, the people are coming around to stand with London here. Oh wow, yeah, London is getting a lot of people. So you see 200 people show up now. Oh, good. All right, the crowd is built up. We have enough people now. So if the police come to do anything, they have to do to all 200 people. Then up comes Desir, or up comes Norton, or Figuera, and they stand in front. They won't stand behind. They're going to go and stand in front of me and Mr. Thomas. And they will say, we the PPP, we the PNC, stood against the PPP. And they'll have the media operatives come there to interview them and say, well, Mr. Norton, Mr. Desir, what are your thoughts on this protest that you have initiated? What are the thoughts on the fact that you're able to stand against the PPP and the police are fighting the PNC? I know y'all. It is not happening. This time you will show Linden that you're prepared to stand for Linden, or you stand by and watch Linden be overtaken. I've made a decision as a man and as a leader. You either stand up or sit down. But you're not standing on the back of anybody. You're not having that bite, that pass this time. We did it for you with the vaccine. And not reference to PNC. We did it in reference to you came. We didn't say go away from here. No. When we started standing, when I traveled to Georgetown and stood there on Odessa Primus, I would always thank Yahweh for that young lady. She came as an independent mind, and she came and stood with me. And people began to stand with us. Others began to stand with us. Suddenly, the PNC knows of a protest. We need to walk there, you need to go here, you need to go here. And you all began to say, okay, then this is your protest. No. No. Okay, so Jason is giving us a serious note. Let me see what Jason is saying. On a serious note, we need to unite and fight for the right things. Teachers must be paid a darn livable salary. Jason, we're united. Believe me, we're united. The issue people have with understanding unity is that unity doesn't mean that there can be disagreement. There cannot be disagreement. I can be united with you, but we can disagree on certain matters. I am not united with the PNC because the PNC is led by big people. No, this morning is a day, because I'm so upset, for me to just filter out of me what I need to get out here. I'm not going to be allowing myself to be set up, ever. We can be united, but we can disagree. I have an issue with there being leaders, please take note, who are paid hefty sums of money. When they sit on committees like Figuera is on the Public Accounts Committee, the PSC. Figuera is paid. When he leaves them to go to Georgetown, he gets an allowance. I don't get that. I have to buy fuel for my vehicle. He is given allowances to travel to represent the PSC. or to have oversight of that committee. When they travel to Parliament, they get money for what they're doing. They are paid. Now, why can you not lead the protest? I call on Lindeners to go out and stand as independent thinkers. Don't stand as PNC. Do not stand as PPP. Stand as independent thinkers to understand what's happening in your community. This is not about them beautifying Linden. You need to understand what people do to you in reference to shoving into your mouth what they think. And you have to accept it. Let me take you further. When African descendants were brought to this country, when Hebrew people were brought here and made slaves, let me make it clear to some of y'all, when they brought to the Caribbean region, when they were taken to the USA, let me make it clear to you. Master, like he did to my father, I don't have grandfather. I have forefathers. You know what they did to him? At Rosignol, he was purchased. And at Rosignol, they said, your name is London. He didn't leave. He did not leave with the name London. He didn't leave Africa, Akabulan. He didn't leave that land in Ghana with the name London. He was brought here. And at Rosignol, a white man paid cash for him and said, your name is London. Hundreds of years later, when I looked at my family tree, guess what it started with? This man being purchased at Rosignol. And down the line, his descendants are called London. I hope you're getting the point. He was told what his name would be. Mackenzie Sports Club Ground is called Mackenzie Sports Club Ground. The PPP decided it is called Mackenzie Stadium. And you would say, it's just a simple thing, it's not a big problem. It's not a big problem. But I just showed you that the one who has the power to name your entities and name your people is the one who is in absolute control of your people. If you cannot see this what it is, then you're too weak to see anything. And you're too weak to see even what you are. If you call it as Edgel did, Edgel sat at the radio station in Linden. Boy, you lucky, Edgel. Edgel sat. Jason wants to join me. Jason, if you want to join me, just indicate. If Edgel could sit, come into our town, sit at the radio station with, I think, with Gaspar, and Edgel can say it's called Mackenzie Stadium. Gaspar can say it's called Mackenzie Stadium. What does that tell you? When they are legal documents, you have bank records, you have got legal documents to indicate that this is where this would name the venue. Mackenzie Sports Club. Edgel says it's called Mackenzie Stadium. And Lindeners will now say it's called Mackenzie Stadium. What does that tell you? So Jason is going to be added. I'm wondering if I'll be able to hear him, but we'll see. Your phone has to be in landscape. So I'll have Jason here for two or so minutes. Let's have a quick conversation. Because matters must be addressed. So while you're here, Lisa Prasad, a PPP trolling donkey has decided. So let me just speak to that. Lisa said, for your information. Now, that's why I tell you how stupid the PPP supporters are. And I will always call you stupid. I would never support anything called the PPP in this country, the way it is. Because it is fashioned for stupid people. Now, y'all see, I'll get upset again. But if my party, if I'm a part of a political group, and my group is led by somebody who's semi-literate, who could barely read, then I have to be stupid to support that. No, y'all can say what you want. There's no way that I will look to somebody who's called a leader, and he could hardly read. While I have a PhD, or I may have a master's of some sort. I may be maybe a businessman. I don't have a master's or whatever, but I have sense. How could I then look to somebody and say, you my leader, and you could hardly read? I have to call words for you. I have to help you to understand what words are. Cervical instead of cervical. Women don't have cervical cancer, they have cervical cancer. Irfan Ali is paid to be president, sat in front of a television screen and could not say cervical. This is no joke. As a president, he cannot say the word cervical. He said cervical. And you support that? So your children in school, no vowels, no consonants. They understand phonics. They understand how to part a word or divide a word into sections, as you call phonics, and then say the word. Irfan Ali sat in front of us. Irfan Ali mother is an English teacher. You need to give the government back our money, Irfan mother. You need to give us back our money because for years we paid you, you can't teach your own son. We want our money back. Because this boy's mother is an English teacher and he cannot say the word cervical, cervical. Don't talk about reparative. He went to the UN, sat there beside Jagdio, his handler, his puppet master, and reparative justice. That dunce. And you tell me I could support that? I have nothing personal against Irfan Ali. Please, you all need to understand how I think as an independent mind. But you're not going to be paid my taxpayers' money to sit in that office, earn $2 or $3 million a month, and you can't read. No, your mother needs to give us back her money because she is responsible for what you are. Now, Ejil is sitting in the seat of Minister of Public Works. Ejil. And y'all come, what's your name? Lisa Prasad, the troll. I don't know if you call me, wherever you are. Trolling Lisa, I dare you. I dare you to come and present something for your information, FYI. Ejil is sitting in the seat of Minister of Public Works, and 100% of Ejil's qualification is in theology. Ejil has nothing in reference to even a science degree, an engineering degree, an engineering certificate, or engineering experience. That's what you have. And then the people must say, Ejil is Minister of Public Works. Which is why works are being done in Linden, for example. And Ejil can't see that if you dig drains all over the place, while you do not create the necessary camber on the roadways, like Sir David Rose Avenue, and we need to change the thing, but I don't know Sir David Rose anything. When you come around the Adventist church area, if you don't clear that road and create the camber to go down to the drain, you'll have water settling on the roadways and you still have a problem. So you're clearing the drains, but you're not preparing the way for the water to go into the trenches and the canals. Because you're Minister of Public Works, but you're a preacher by qualification. I'm not a preacher by qualification. I'm not qualified to do anything in reference to theology. But yet, I don't have human qualifications, but I'm qualified to know that my Messiah's name is Yeshua because Jesus cannot exist in Hebrew language. And it never existed. I'm qualified to have sense to know if somebody, according to the Bible, says, my name is Yeshua. It's written in Acts 26:14. Then I have to say what his name is. PPP is littered with dunces, thugs, and thieves. So they could come into Linden and say, this is what we're going to do. We call this place Mackenzie Sports Club. We're going to ensure that this Mackenzie Stadium, we're going to have a flag raising exercise here, and nobody could stop us. They are, if you don't know. If you didn't see the notice, let me because this must be far-reaching reference. If it may hit home to some of y'all. They're closing off major roadways in Linden. I want you to pay attention. Yesterday, I observed members of the Guyana Police Force. That name should change, but I'll call you what it is. Members of the Guyana Police Force, I observed, lifting barriers from Shanghai's place, putting it onto our police vehicles, because they all own it. It's owned by taxpayers. Members of the young men in my country, young African brothers. Your job is not to go lifting barrier from Shanghai House to put on police vehicle to move it. Look at what they have you doing. I observe they're lifting barriers from Shanghai's place, loading it onto the police truck, and moving it down the road. They're blocking off major streets around the town. And they issued a statement. Read it. That you're going to park your vehicle and walk to the Mackenzie Sports Club. Do you know what happened to Linden tonight? Huh? So in your town, and I said this before, how stupid could it be? You're going building this stadium, as you're going to call it, call it the ICC Stadium, and the lackeys and cronies of Mackenzie Sports Club Financial Group, y'all come, Kashif son. You the liaison between the club membership and the contractor. You come. Yannick, you can't come and say anything on my page. You know better. I said, how does it make sense to you to do this here when you have all of the land, so much land, by what we call a Miller's Ward area. You have so much land by over the river. But you decide in the heart of a town to have this ICC standard stadium, International Cricket Council Stadium, as you call it, in the heart of a town where we already have issues with parking and we don't have an event yet. When we don't have an event. On an ordinary Friday, Linden, the avenue, you crawl. Sometimes you end up to a halt. We have a traffic issue in Linden. And I told y'all, how does it make sense to you to put a stadium in the heart of a town? You are so daft. But they wouldn't do it. Because the Chinese money, the grant, had to be spent by this clan of thieves. So they had to find a Trinidadian, give the Trinidadian the man the money. You know how that was happening in reference to the arrangements. So they're shutting off major streets in Linden. If you have an emergency, you figure out how you're going to get the ambulance to get to you. That's Linden's reality. When I said to them, do not do this. You should never have any such structure in the town. Leave sports club, develop it for people to go there and practice, hone their skills, make it a multi-purpose facility where young men can go, they learn swimming, everything else in the heart of the town. No major activity. When you have a major international activity or whatever you want to do, you take it to the new stadium they built in Bamia, in that area, or build a new stadium on the Mabura Road area where the Brazil Road to Brazil is being held. Nope. The crooks, the thieves, the thugs, the dunces don't want that. Because they'll come into your town, block up the road, and to hell with you. You figure out how you get around and they're gone back. That's our reality. Now, further I say to you, when we were supposed to have sports, Johnny Gravesandi was put out of sports club for over 2 or 3 years. Don't come in here. You can't use it. Out. You'll damage the cricket field. Construction is being held. You have hundreds of military personnel and thousands of footers, standing all over the ground. They wouldn't damage the cricket field. But our school children can go in there to practice for national championships. I hope you'll get a picture. I asked them against these sports club people to tell me the last day that a football player went in there to practice football, since it's supposed to be for the public. But you could carry soldiers in there. You could put a stage on the cricket field with tons of speakers in terms of weight. But children can't run on the field because you damage the field. And Lindeners do not see culture at play. The culture that's being created in your town is to show you that as long as we have control over how you process things, we have control over how you will see the processes in the future. As long as you have control over how you process things, then they have control over how you see processes in the future. And the processes are coming your way in 2025, before election, would be more handouts to their cronies to do works in your community. So they get the millions of dollars filtered to their pockets, and then they tell you, we're working for Linden, we're supporting Linden. You see the work you're doing in Linden, but you don't get it. You do not get anything from it. Then they're going to come into your town to tell you that you have no right to stand against leadership because we did too much for y'all. And if you only vote for the PNC, then they'll do nothing for you. And when they do that, the weak minds will say, but it's true, because the PNC never cleared this ground. But you haven't taken note of the fact that the council, because Dharamlal, and I know this, issued an instruction they must not raise rates and taxes in Linden. We have so many new communities that are yet to be gazetted. And if you're not gazetted, then you don't have the right to pay any tax whatsoever. So what do we have in our country? What do we have in Linden? We have thousands of homes that are not gazetted. And the PPP did this on purpose. Because if you're not legally gazetted, then the council can't come after you for taxes. That's why you have so many streets in Linden. Let me come, sit in front of the class. You have so many streets in Linden with no name. Like in the Millers Ward, you can't name anything. You know how many streets in the ward you can name? How many streets in new houses schemes do have a name? Can you tell me? Oh, I live by Figgy Corner. I live through by where Marlon is. If you go on the corner there, I'm just talking Guyanese vernacular. I try my best, man. Also, I can't speak like Guyanese too well. I live right down there, man. You know the green shop? You know the green shop there? Yeah, right by the green shop corner. When GT&T, when eNetworks, or any other service provider wants to find your house, you know Fat Man there, and right through by Fat Man corner there. You come by Fat Man corner, then you go through around the next corner. They get big red truck on the corner. You know I don't speak like that because there are no names to the streets. Why? Because they're not gazetted. If they're not gazetted, then you cannot collect rates and taxes. If you don't collect rates and taxes, then the council suffers. Dharamlal was behind that. Granger came in and did nothing about it. So what do you do? There's what you call subventions. This is how local governments are controlled, because there's nothing called local government in Guyana. You starve them and say you can't collect people taxes. And then what you have is what you call subventions, where monies will have to come from out of the town called central government to be given to the council. Now when you do that, what happens next is they control what you can spend, because they control how much you're given. So the council could not in any way do what you're seeing in Linden now, because they have no subvention. They could say we have a problem, we have a garbage problem, we have no garbage trucks, but they have no subvention. That's what has happened to Linden. The PPP single-handedly, and along with Granger, destroyed our community. The breadbasket of this Caribbean was Linden, not of Guyana. That's why Linden has so many, we call islanders in it. Right. This one from St. Lucia, the one from Grenada, this one from Trinidad, the one from Barbados, because Linden, the bauxite company, was the breadbasket of the whole Caribbean. And the PPP single-handedly destroyed it. And then after the single-handedness, Granger came and said, I'll couple with you all, and we'll help you destroy Linden too. That's your reality. So when people will sit, the younger ones, the younger bats will sit and say, oh, but PLC never did anything for the community. Stop. Y'all, and then let me talk to you. You are young and you can hate me, but you'll never be stupid at my expense. You are too young to be so daft. Read. Don't be like Irfan. Read. It is public knowledge that subventions have to be sent into townships and regional and democratic councils and neighborhood councils because the PPP refuse to let taxes be collected. They did all of that road work you see around Sports Club. The government Mackenzie High School put tunnels in and so they could park and so on by way of or black stink and that is being held. And the next thing is the Mackenzie Bridge, the middle section that causes a traffic backup all of the time. You know what I just said in radio yesterday? If you get caught in the bridge traffic, we go to Chester Boat Landing and cross, and you get free crossing in Chester. Edgel is taking our taxpayers' money to say that anybody who's coming, as long as you go into the flag raising event, you can cross for free. So Chester would make millions of dollars tonight by people saying, yeah, I go in by the flag raising, and they cross for free. Then Chester would give a bill to the government, and Dwight John has to pay it. We have to pay. Taxpayers have to pay because Edgel has said that you're crossing for free at Chester Boat Landing. Instead of using some of the money to run the plates longitudinally along the run of the bridge, so you don't have to slow down at the middle section and take forever to cross, they left it exactly as it is. And Figgy lives over the river. Instead of Figgy saying that you ain't crossing this bridge tonight, as a member of parliament, I will stand and block this whole bridge because there'll be nothing crossing this bridge unless y'all fix it. Figgy's doing that. Tonight, when you have all of the major players, as you want to call them, coming into the town, instead of Figgy saying, all right, then we park our cars on the highway, and everybody will have a mechanical problem. All the trucks and cars in Linden want to come, park on the highway. Head to my place, and everybody break down, take a key out and walk out the car because you got a problem. Figgy can't do that. Because Figgy has to ensure that Ali is not displeased with him. And Figgy and I know why. I don't want no speech from y'all. Don't write no don't issue no public statement, write a letter to the editor. I'm not buying that from y'all. I am not buying this letter to the editor nonsense from y'all. Stand up or sit down. And when you sit down, then we step up and do what we have to do. Sit down. All y'all who want to be elected and voted in wherever it is, I give you a chance to stand now. Because if you don't stand up now, I will sit. I'll sit and watch you stand. Because you have to do what you have to do now. You can't hide behind no screen now. Don't hide behind no letter to the editor here. Stand up and show that you got chutzpah. You have chutzpah, according to the Russian. You have intestinal fortitude. Akani's all money? Okay, then Akani says all money being spent, but Akani, you know more than me. So he's spending all money to cross Chester Boat Landing. Boy, listen here. You guys big in the action, man. Figgy can't stand. Now let me say this, and some of y'all PLC supporters get mad at me, but get mad all you want. The images that are still littering our nation's memory of Irfan Ali rocking the vehicle. It's our vehicle, by the way. Cameron Cummins was in by Pegasus area. Come out the vehicle. You're illegal. Come out the vehicle. They surrounded that vehicle and they were rocking it and say, come out here. A woman was in that vehicle. And Irfan Ali, in his usual thuggish manner, was telling Cameron Cummins to come out of the vehicle when she was on her way to Pegasus. That's the PPP. Jagdeo at election said that if Granger is ever to be sworn in, he, not we, he, an individual, Jagdeo, said, I will make this country ungovernable. Granger didn't arrest him because that's a treasonous statement. He should have been arrested and tried for treason and put in jail. Granger didn't touch it. One person. Now we have one man named Norton who's saying he has to have the whole support of the whole world before he can have it. And even when he gets it, he doesn't believe in protest. He believes in the various forms of protest, like letter writing, like Figgy's protest. You write letters, and that's how you protest. At least it will be said that I said something. That's Figgy's strategy. At least I said something. I wrote a letter. And those who could read it read my letter that I said that I don't agree with this behavior in Linden. Really? In Japan, in Africa, in the Philippines especially, and those places, Malaysia, members of parliament used to throw a microphone at one another. They jump over the table and start punching and fighting in parliament, saying, that's how serious they were. They are. In certain territories in this world, people will climb tables and kick each other in the chest in the House of Assembly. Figgy writes a letter. Norton hosts a press conference. And Norton says he's strategizing. And I should sit here and say that Norton, being a Lindener, should be supported. In doing what? I am leaving you today with a challenge. Lindeners, stand up independently for what you believe in. Don't look to anybody to lead you. Stand up independently for what you believe in. If you believe that people could come and change the name of your mecca of sports and just leave you like that, I rest my case. If you believe the persons can deliberately boycott, whether you like them or not, they call leaders. If they can deliberately bypass leadership and protocol, and you support that, let me close by telling you this. The only individuals who support dishonesty are dishonest people. If you support bypassing protocols just to get what you want, you are fit for the PPP because you're dishonest. And you support underhandedness. May I inform you that I have absolutely no personal issue with Amanza Desir, with Norton, with Figuera, with Devin Sears. None. Devin and I see each other and say, what's up, man? Devin is different. Figgy stopped talk. Figgy stopped talk. But Devin and I, Devin is cool. Devin, I have no personal beef. Devin knows I express how I feel, and he has the right to do the same. But Figgy stopped talking to me. Figgy don't talk. Figgy's passing and he mad at the whole world. That's the kind of member of parliament we have, a stop talking member of parliament. And you want to lead people? I don't have any personal issue with you. Norton, I could talk on the phone normally, and I credit Norton with that. Norton called me, said, Nigel, your father is this person. Yeah, that's my father. And we cool. Because I don't have an issue with any one of you personally. But when you are paid taxpayers' money to lead, boy, you better lead. You had better lead. Since the quality of leadership that you offer to our people and to me has a lot to do with my well-being and the future of my country. All I'm asking you all to do is to lead with strength. Lead from the front. And tonight, make a statement. Tonight, make a statement that will put Linden back on the map of being the cradle of the rebellion. Make a statement. We need cycling velodrome. Linden produced Joel and Joseph. Y'all don't get me started, man. You got to welcome to Linden sign the heart of Region 10. We have got, what's his name? What the young man name? Archibald. Archibald just set another national record. Archibald was winning in so many areas. And you have young people don't even know who Archibald is. My son doesn't know what Emmanuel Archibald is. Put a sign right there at the entrance of Linden. Let us show the youth who come into this town who Lindeners are. We have a world record holder in Joel and Joseph. Do you all know that? I'm not talking yesterday record. At this moment, a cyclist named Julian Joseph holds our world record for sprinting on a bike. And we have no velodrome, no cycling track, and we have oil money. In the UK, in the US, in Trinidad, right here, right across here, Trinidad has got a cycling track. What are you doing about sports? The young fellow from Omari who's not playing for Chicago Fire. What are you doing? Collie Harp is among the first to play professionally for Guyana in Trinidad. Where's his picture? Do we know him? Or what it is, one Guyana and flag? What are y'all doing about our own people? This grieves me. This grieves me to my core. Where are the sports facilities in our communities? Linden has dominated National School Track and Field Championships for over 10 years. What have y'all done for us? Where's the stadium? Where's the cycling track? We have a record, a world record holder. Black face called Joel and Joseph, and he's very, very dark. And that's why you don't see any statue, you don't see any life-size banner. The man set a world record, Joel and Joseph. Marlon Fishy Williams, Fishy, was a youth when he won the Caribbean Championship. Among the first to ever do it in our country. Cycling. Linden, where is the picture of Fishy? But you want cyclists to see Neil Kamaru the piece, and I'll leave it in a separate broadcast. Because not just what you want to do. Y'all do what is right. We have enough land in Linden for you to build a 5-mile cycling outer track. Where people could go anywhere you want to race, you can train the national team. Then you have a cycling velodrome. You can have a football stadium. You can have cricket stadium. You can have lawn tennis. You can have swimming. You can have all of that. A big sporting village you're building in Linden. Let me give you some vision, Ali. Linden would have, because the road to Brazil is right there, you build a sports village. We bring coaches from Brazil. We bring teams from Brazil to play against us in football, and you develop in that manner. No, what is that's selling? You want to see along the highway? Sawmill. Harry and Son, Jerry and Son, Lal Gobal and Son, Sigobin and Son, Jai Paul and Son, Hobolam and Son, everybody, sawmill. That's what we're known for. Cut all the trees down and when you clear the land, give it to Pre, let it build a farm. What are y'all doing? What are you doing for our people? Huh? We need a cycling velodrome, a bank track to produce track cyclists. I know what will happen in this country if it happens because we have the skill, but we don't have the facility. But the PDP would dig gutter, cut grass, and build roads in their communities and leave you all by yourself. I thank you for your time. I appreciate the time spent with you all here today. And I hope that those from the PDP will join me in calling for the cycling velodrome to be built, the 5-mile cycling track to be built so we could keep national road races and stuff right there. We have to go on the road and bothering people on the highway. The football stadium will be built, cricket stadium will be built away from the heart of our town. We have a sports village where we train people for the Olympics like they do in China and Russia. That's what we want again. Take them out to the city, take them to the sports village, and they have a high-tech village for sports. Boxing, everything. You go there and you become a world-class sportsman. Let us do what we can to rescue a town that needs to be rescued. Together, we can make it happen. Not under weak leadership. You'll hear more from me. You'll hear a lot more from me. Because the people's movement would have been asked, and we shall, as you requested, we shall lend ourselves the next general election to represent to the highest level. It is your choice, and we'll talk.